Now I will do nothing but listen to accrue what I hear into this song, to let sounds contribute towards it. I hear bravices of birds, bustle of growing wheat, gossip of flame, clack of sticks cooking meals. I hear the sound I love the sound of human voice. I hear all sounds running together, combined, fused, or following. Sounds of the city, sounds of the city, sounds of the day and night. Talkative young ones to those that I like, the loud laugh of work people at their meals, the angry bass of disjointed friendship, faint tones of the sick, the judge with hands tight to the desk, his pallid lips pronouncing a death sentence, the heave yo of stevedores unladling ships by the wharves, the refrain of anchor lifters, the ring of alarm bells, the cry of fire, the whir of swift streaking engines and hose carts with premonitory tinkles and colored lights, the steam whistle, the solid roll of the train approaching cars, the slow march played at the head of the association, marching two and two, they go to guard some corpse. The flag tops are draped with black muslin. I hear violoncello. I hear the key cornet. It glides quickly through my ears. It shakes mad sweet pain through my belly breast. I hear the chorus of the a chorus. It is a grand opera, and this indeed is music. This suits me. It suits me, Daniel. Hello, a tenure large and fresh as the creation fills me. The orbix flex of his mouth is pouring and filling me full. Hello, Hindi and English. I hear you typing out there in the chat. I hear the trained soprano. What work with hairs is this? The orchestra whirls me wider than Uranus flies. It wrenches such adores. Hello, 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 it says out there. For me, I did not know possess them. I am cut by bitter and angry hail. I lose my breath. Steeped amid honey, morphine, my windpipe throttles in fakes of death. At length, let up again to feel the puzzles of puzzles, and that we call being. The words of Walt Whitman. And today in the Chapel of Poetry, we are celebrating the words of Walt Whitman, Father Walt, the father of free verse poetry in the Chapel of Poetry. And hello, Rona. Hello. Walt Whitman was born in 1819 and passed in 1892. He was an American poet, an essayist, and a journalist, and he wrote two novels, Hello, Hello Out There. He is called the father of free verse poetry, and that is what we mostly write in this time and day and age. And I have written some. I am old. I am 55, 7, 57. I am an old person. See, I'm bald and gray and wizened, and Walt Whitman looked like an old wizard. Walt Whitman looked like an old wizard, older than me. All right. So I will read a poem that I wrote for Walt Whitman. You are all gone now. You are all gone. Because I am too old to be here entertaining you all today. This is the Chapel of Poetry in the After Church Chat. Okay. All right. Well, if you are 10 years old, maybe you shouldn't be here today, but that's okay. You can listen in because I hear you. I hear you, your flame tongue expanding the horizon of mine. Words, 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 words that live in me, breed in me like a hot, flaming phallus, penetrating, forming a womb in me, a womb in my mind. I hear you. I hear you. The noise in the sky rolled it up into a tight ball. Into a tight ball. This gift, this power beyond the word of this page. I hear you. Seen dimly through mirror glasses, flowers sprouted out from dead winter ground. Springtime rains breathe renewed life into the book. I hear you rustling through whisper tongues of wind. I am reading poetry that I just wrote. Hello? I hear you rustling leaves, whisper tongues of wind. Slow down time, eyes fixed ahead. Eyes fixed ahead. The blinders of the horse. The blinders of the horse team keeps them from fighting. They go forward alone. Alone in their own space, they go forward. Driving the chariot into tomorrow. I hear you. I hear you, Walt Whitman. Are you discouraged by our seemingly lack of progress? Our liberated poetry not much different than your own, Walt Whitman. Take this line, for instance. There is no rhyme, there is no meter, there is no length. There is nothing governing its length, its girth, its meaning. I sing in the blades of grass. Rustling leaves, wind, and rain. They tell me your story. When I look at them, I hear you. Darkness falls. Concentration of energy, crackling, sparkling in an abyss, pulled through. Little points of light, pin pricks seen for the first time. I hear you. A mob gathers. pitchforks raised to the sky, words painted on makeshift signs, fists clenched, pumped into the air, open mouths closing, opening mouths closing, yelling, well, hot, yelling, white, hot anger cutting through White House walls, stopped dead in their tracks by leaders' ears too deaf to hear. I hear you. Walt Whitman, bearded sage, shabby clothes, unbathed. I see you. I see you sitting in the sun, in the sun, in the sun, in a sunlit hilltop. The sky exhales. The sky exhales in its joy. You, pen in hand, paper ready, worshiping this earth, the mother birthed through a hole in space, in time. Einstein could never have imagined what you, Walt Whitman, experienced when that blade of wheat grass swirled around your hand in a spring breeze, when that wheat grass swirled around your hand and bathed you in a breeze. I hear you, Walt Whitman, at the edges of me. I am afraid. A silent noise, a song, a frequency vibrates through a body, an undefined place. A word forms in the web of mind, a super highway of tissues connecting space in a brain into a thought transmitted through telegraph lines in my tongue. A picture forms in your ear at the edges of me, at the edges of me, and I will read from Walt Whitman again. Song of Myself, number 28. Is this then a touch, quivering me to a new identity? Flames and ether making a rush for my veins. Treacherous tip of me reaching, crowding to help them. My flesh and blood playing out. Lightning to strike, which is hardly different from myself. On all sides, puritant provokers stiffening my limbs, straining the udder of my heart for its withheld drip, behaving licentious towards me, taking no denial, depriving me of my best as for a purpose, unbuttoning my clothes, holding me by bare waist, diluting my confusion with the calm of the sunlit pasture fields, immodesty sliding the fellow senses away. They bribe to swap off with touch and go and graze at the edges of me. no consideration, no regard for my draining strength, or my anger, fetching the rest of the herd around to enjoy them for a while, then all uniting to stand on a headline and worry me. The centuries desert every part of me. They have left me helpless to a marauder. They all come to the headland to whisper and assist me. I am given up by traitors. I talk wildly. I have lost my wits. I am nobody else. I am the greatest traitor. I went myself first to the headland of my own hand, carried me there. You villain, touch, what are you doing? My breath, it's tight in its throat. Unclench your floodgates. You are too much for me. At the edges of me, I hear you. Those were the words of Walt Whitman. And before that were several poems that I wrote, channeling Walt Whitman, celebrating Walt Whitman today, yesterday, last week. This is week 2 of National Poetry Month, where if you celebrate this month, you write a poem a day for 30 days. And I wrote several poems there and ran them all together. And now, in this section of the Chapel of Poetry, I will spin some poems for you right now, in this moment. Right now. I will spin them. I have some random words here, and we will spin them from this. A totem. A totem pole sprouts out of the ground. It has faces on it. It has animals on it. It has spirits on it. This totem pole blooms in your mind as a warning, as a welcoming, as a sign of who you are, who you were, and who you are going to be. A totem pole is a sign of you. Bloom, totem, sign, all words on this card. Let us go look at another one. I'm going to pull at random from this thing of words, and I will spin another poem right now in the moment. We are looking at week 2 of National Poetry Month. Throw that ball against the wall. Throw that ball against the wall and ask yourself, what is the point of it all? Throwing the ball back and forth at the wall in boredom? Is it a tactical ace? A tart. A family strife. A family fight that causes you to throw that ball at a wall. The oak tree stands tall out in the park. Squirrels run around the oak tree. They crawl up the trunk and they leap from branch to branch. They fly seemingly like birds, but they have no wings to flap. They glide. Arms and legs stretched wide. Their fur catches the wind. They glide to their destination, these squirrels that sometimes act like birds in an oak tree, which gives them a place to be, a place to find food and shelter from a storm. Ace up the sleeve. The gambler puts a pocket ace up the sleeve to save for that moment when the gambler is behind. It's not a gamble if you cheat, is it? If you cheat that hand against your opponent who is playing it straight, is that also not a gamble? Because you are gambling with the notion that you might get caught. The gambler who cheats. I am the Busy Slim, the preacher of In the Chapel of Poetry. This is National Poetry Month, and we are celebrating poetry in April. In April, the goal is to write one poem a day for 30 days. And I will read a poem from Allen Ginsberg right now. No, Busy Slim, I am a preacher of poetry, a preacher of art, a preacher of art, a preacher of images, a preacher of words, a preacher who will howl in the night, who will howl in the day, who will howl the words of praise. Well, let your AI do that drawing. Let your AI steal my art, Mr. Busy Slim, and reform it into your art. America, I've given you all, and now I'm nothing. America, $2.27, January 17th, 1956. I can't stand my own mind, America. When will we end the human war? Go F yourself with your atom bomb, America. I don't feel good. Don't bother me. I won't write my poem till I'm in my right mind, America. When will you be angelic? When will you take off your clothes? When will you look at yourself through the grave? When will you be worthy of your million Trotskyites, America? America, why are your libraries full of tears? America, when will you send your eggs to India? I'm sick of your insane designs. I'm sick of your insane demands. Where can I go into your supermarkets and buy what I need with my good looks? America, after all, it is you and I who are perfect, not the next world. This is poetry. I'm reading from Allen Ginsberg's, a poem by Allen Ginsberg. Your machinery is too much for me. You made me want to be a saint, America. There must be some other way to settle this argument. Burroughs is in Tangiers, and I don't think he'll ever come back. It's sinister. Are you? Are you being sinister, or is this some form of practical joke? I'm trying to come to the point. I refuse to give up my obsession. America, 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 stop pushing. I know what I am doing. America, the plum blossoms are falling. I haven't read the newspapers for months. Every day somebody goes on trial for murder. America, America, I feel sentimental about the Wobblies. America, America, this is a poem by Allen Ginsberg, Busy Slim. America, America, America. I used to be a communist when I was a kid. I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry. I smoke my JJ every chance I get. I sit in my house for days on end and stare at the roses in my closet. When I go to Chinatown, I get drunk and never get laid. My mind is made up and there's going to be trouble. You should have seen me reading Marx. My psychoanalyst thinks I'm perfectly right. I won't say the Lord's Prayer. I have mystical visions and cosmic vibrations. America, America, America. I still haven't told you what you did to Uncle Max after he came over from Russia. I am addressing you, America. I am addressing you, America. I am addressing you, America. Are you going to let your emotional life be run by Time magazine, by the internet, by social media, America? I'm obsessed by social media. I look at it all the time. Its thumbnails stare at me every time I slink past the TV at the corner candy store. I read it in the basement of the Berkeley Public Library, Time magazine. It's always telling me about my responsibilities. Businessmen are serious. Movie producers are serious. Everybody is serious, but me? It occurs to me that I am America, but I'm talking to myself again. Okay, that is a piece of a poem by Allen Ginsberg called America. And we will spin one more poem for all you out there. Fatima, welcome. Welcome. And Mr. Busy Slim, if you don't know what poetry is, maybe you should read some poetry. Listen to some poetry. I would suggest slam poetry, but to go to a slam poetry, you have to be over 21, and because they always hold them in bars and taverns, in places of sin. Poetry is best spun in a place of sin. Poetry is best spun in a place of sin, because down in the sin of humankind is the experience of being alive. In the sin of humankind is the experience of being alive. It is the feeling you get when you see the trees shaking and blowing and bending around in a strong wind. It creaks and it groans. It's scary. Sometimes you get afraid when that tree is swaying in a wind, because you don't know, because it might fall down at any moment and crush you. In the experience of sin, the body goes wild. It goes wild with its desire. It goes wild with its absence of light, because in the darkness of night, those thoughts under the moon are more alive. Those thoughts under the moon are more alive. They grow big in your head, and you sit on your bed afraid. Afraid of what might become if you experience that for real. But when the sun rises, all those thoughts, those things you saw when you gazed into the moon pond, when those creatures of the night, they came alive. They came alive at 2 a.m. All that stuff that was stuck in your mind evaporates into a mist dispelled by the rising sun. The rising sun. The rising sun. Its warmth, its rays penetrate these thick bodies. It penetrates these thick bodies and breathes new life into us. AI can't write poetry. I know, because I have fed it lines before. I've asked it to write a poem in the style of Walt Whitman, but it can't, because AI only understands iambic pentameter. It only understands meter and rhyme. Free verse poetry short circuits the brains of AI. And AI cannot create new things. AI cannot create new things, but maybe it will be able to someday. But right now, AI is a puppet on a string, controlled by you and me, and controlled by electrons zipping through circuit boards and software written by some guy. So maybe your AI can create a better painting than this, but your AI may not have had the pleasure of forming those colors into pictures on the page. Anyways, that's my I hate AI poem, and I think it is time to put my sarcasm aside. It's time to put my sarcasm aside for AI and have a more open mind. At the height of this hour, in the shower, I should think about the word. The word is like an acorn. It starts really small, but given the right conditions, it will bloom and grow into something. Not all poems are good. This one might not be any good either. I speak in poetic sound, in the sound of oral poetry. Oral poetry. A native, an indigenous scholar showed me the way in a lecture on how to write poetry without pen and without paper. And that is what I am doing in this celebration of poetry in my chapel of poetry, this sacredness of the word. Not all sacred words come from the Bible. Not all sacred words come from the Bible. Not all sacred words come from the Bible. Sacred words first come from us. From us being true to our beings, true to who we were created to be. This is what I celebrate in this moment now. And one more word from the American poet Walt Whitman. Because I hear you, Walt. At the edges of me, I hear you, Walt. At the edges of me, I hear you, Walt. At the edges of me, I hear you. Number 27 from Song of Myself. To be in any form, what is this? Round and round we go, all of us, and ever come back thither, if nothing lay more developed. The claw hang in a callous shell were enough. Mine is no callous shell. I have instant conductors all over me, whether I stop or pass. They seize every object and lead it harmlessly through me. I merely stir, press, feel with my fingers, and am happy to touch my person to someone else is about as much as I can stand at the edges of me. I hear you, Walt Whitman. Thank you, folks. Thank you for coming into my chat, Fatima. Busy Slim, yes, thank you too. Blessings and praise to all. Tarot asked backwards. Blessing and praise to all. Have a nice week. I will be back next week at this same time and same place for the Chapel of Poetry for week 3 of National Poetry Month. And I will have some more poems from inspired by Father Walt Whitman at the edges of me hearing you. Good day. Bye-bye. Have a great week.